Good morning, how are we doing? Today I want to talk a little bit about this BMW thing that I mentioned in yesterday's video. Now, some of you may have watched my Saab video, which was this one here, where basically I was buying a Saab 9.5 and saying how much would it cost to replace this car with a new one. Obviously, there is no Saab that you can buy, and I mentioned BMW. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a little look at what a BMW estate with heated seats, similar sort of spec, would cost. And I want to say a few bits about luxury car tax and why the car market is just so doomed at the minute. So let's take a look, right? We'll go over to the BMW configurator. Here it is. This is all of BMW's available cars. A couple of things to talk about. Okay, let's do the obvious one, right? There's 13 electric cars available from BMW, right? Look at the prices. 75 grand, 114, 58, 49, 43, 101, 101, 67, 97, 70, 99, 51, and 71. So the only, the cheapest BMW electric vehicle is an iX1 at £43,000. And then the 5 Series, remember we're talking about an estate car here, it's £100,000. I just find that actually crazy. Okay, that's the M model, but it's still £70,000 for an electric i5. Now, what I was thinking when I made that video yesterday is I would just scroll down and go find myself a 5 Series diesel estate. The bread and butter of the sort of British car buying market. The car that replaced the Ford Mondeo because suddenly everybody realised they could have BMWs and they stopped buying Mondeos, but the Mondeo was where it all started, and then everybody moved to BMW diesel estates. So that's the electric stuff. Then you go down to the petrol cars, okay, you can have an X7. I don't like the way they split out the M models. But anyway, 93,000, 118,000, 82,000, these are horrendously expensive cars. 101 now for an X6 and 137 for an X6M. The X5 now starts at 99,000. Does it? Surely not. M model. What does a basic X5 start at? Where is the basic X5? Can you have one? No, you can't. So I can't have a non-M X5. Can that be right? So that means the entry-level X5 is now £99,000. Wow. Remember when I had that one, that grey one, that I paid 1,800 quid for, and it was brilliant, the 3-litre diesel, but you can't have that anymore. These are all petrol. Right, the X5M is 135 grand, X3 at 51, X3M at 71. These prices are absolutely ludicrous. And what you'll notice is, there you go, X1, 36,920. But when it comes to luxury car tax, 40 is the magic number. But once you've added some options on that, you're going to be above 40 anyway, and then you're going to be paying the car tax. Right, so we've got a 5 Series Touring here. This is what we're looking at. So a petrol 5 Series Touring, 54,535. So what we'll do now, because the BMW range is so incredibly confusing. Oh no, there was one thing I wanted to say as well. The 4 Series. Where's the 4 Series Coupe? I couldn't believe the price of the 4 Series Coupe. It's just the basic coupe. Here you go. 4 Series Grand Coupe. 4 Series Grand Coupe, £62,000 that starts at now. The basic 4 Series, which is basically a 3 Series with less doors, now starts at £45,000. I mean, I know, the price of these cars has got insane, but when you actually go on the BMW configurator and try and build yourself a car, you realise what a mess the car industry has got itself in, and that'll become apparent towards the end of this video. Right, instead of me just being staggered by the cost of these BMWs, let's have a look at what we actually want. So we want a Touring, so we go there, so we've got electric, and we want a 5, because the 5 is more comparable to the Saab 9.5 that we're in. So I can have a 5 Series, or I don't want an M5, because that would be silly. Petrol, where's my diesel? There is no diesel. I cannot buy a 5 Series diesel from BMW anymore. I have to have petrol. So if I don't want a plug-in hybrid, which I don't, and I don't want an electric, which I don't, then we're going to have to go for a Touring down here, which is going to be a straight petrol. So if we open this up, what this gives us is 45.6 miles to the gallon combined, but we've got to add a few options. Now, it used to be back in the day, unless I'm doing something wrong here, your base model would be saying SE, right? Not an M Sport. M Sport would be top of the range. But now, M Sport is entry level, M Sport Pro, Sport Edition, or M models, right? But again, the prices go up significantly. So if we just stay with an M Sport, which is the base car, what I want to do is I want to make sure that it's got heated seats, because that is the main thing. So it's an automatic with gear shift paddles, right? So we're very similar to the Saab that I've got in my video, which I paid 1,200 quid delivered for. So exterior colours, right? Let's try and have an interesting colour. Tanzanite blue or fire red. Now, Tanzanite blue is quite similar to the Saab that I've got in the video, so we'll stick with that. And then on the interior, what we got there, we can go 19-inch light or 19-inch aerodynamic. We'll stick with the free option. And then on the interior, what I want to do is make sure we go for a similar sort of colour. Now, ideally, I'd like a light beige colour, but I'm going to have perforated and quilted Vaganza in smoke white. That is horrible. Why can't I just have a beige? Look at the dashboard with all the blue all over it. I'm sure if I spent more time on it, then I could have something like that. So, okay, let's change it to what we got. Individual bronze, silver bronze, high gloss. What's that? That's dark M accent. I don't want that. Let's have the fine wood, fine line pale. Right, so we have that. And I assume this is LEDs that I can change the colour off, but I might be wrong there. Packages and optional equipment. There you go, the comfort pack, heated seats. So we want the comfort pack. How do I add that on? There we go. Comfort access, heated steering wheel, travel and comfort. I don't need comfort access, but we'll add that anyway. So that adds £1,200 on. All right. So we've added the comfort pack. Do we want? Let's ignore all of that. Right. Our accessories here. I don't need any of these accessories because they're stupid, and you can spend a lot of time on this. £1,300 for a roof box. That's more than I paid for my whole Saab. Hilarious, right? I don't want to add any of this stuff. I don't want any insurance. So my total price is £57,030 for my 5 Series. And what did I say in the video? I said I don't think you'll get much change from £60,000. But what we need to take a look at here is the road tax. So my on-the-road price is 57 grand, and I haven't really added many options, and I've only got the 520 M Sport Touring, and my combined fuel consumption is 45.6. If we go over to my notes file, which is here, you can see that I've detailed the way the road tax works. So from April, I ordered this car brand new, right? I have to pay all cars now are £195 standard rate, okay? So my first year road tax is £195, but the government introduced this luxury car tax thing, which is all cars over £40,000. Now, that means pretty much every BMW, as we saw when we looked at the prices. That means that at year 2, I have to add on an extra £425, which is the luxury car tax. So my road tax in year 1 is £195, but for the next 5 years, my road tax is £620. So if I've done the maths correctly, that means over 6 years I'm going to spend £4,295 just on road tax. Now, on this BMW as well, if we can go back to that a sec, we've got a combined fuel consumption of 45.6. So let's just note this down here. We're spending £57,000, right? 57 grand, and we're spending that on road tax, okay? That's what it's going to cost. The thing is as well, if I sell this car after 3 years, it's not going to be worth 57 grand. It's probably going to be worth half that. But after 3 years, you still have to pay the luxury car tax. It goes with the car. And that's even for EVs. So as I've written here, road tax on a 2-year-old EV that produces 0 emissions at the tailpipe. Remember, road tax, vehicle excise duty was predominantly based on emissions. A 2-year-old EV is going to be £620 road tax. So let's take the Macmaster with his Porsche Taycan. He's paid no road tax because that car was free when the car was introduced. But now that we're a few years on, a 2-year-old EV is going to be £620 just in road tax when it produces no emissions, which road tax is based on. It's utter insanity. So it's killing the car market, and it's proving that the UK has completely lost the plot. So let's go back over to here then. So we're getting 45.6 miles to the gallon. What about an alternative then? And again, this is why the new car market is absolutely shafted. You're spending 60 grand plus 5 grand on road tax when you could have something like this, right? So this is I've just chosen this as an example. There's so many of these 5 Series available, and when you're buying a 5 Series, it's really important to try and not look like a police car. That's the main thing. My sister's got a 5 Series estate, and every time she pulls up, I think it's the police. Anyway, don't buy an ex-police 5 Series. There's a video that I did on that with 1 million views on it about why you should never buy an ex-police car because they've all been clocked. But that's a whole other story. So this is a 2012 75,000 mile car, right? I think this looks cheap at 8,250 quid. So I've checked, and it does have heated seats, and it's an automatic, and it's a diesel. So let's talk about running costs, right? You buy this at 75,000 miles, and you pay your 8,250 quid. And then your running costs throughout the time that you own the car, notwithstanding the fact that, we know that the government like to change the rules on road tax. But check this out. You're getting, it's £195 a year tax, right? Which is the same as what you're spending on your brand new 5 Series, except you don't have to pay the luxury car tax. So you're saving yourself £620 a year already. And don't forget, the fuel economy of the brand new 5 Series there is, 45.6 mpg. Okay? So on your old 5 Series, which isn't even that old, it's a 2012, it's got all the tech on it anyway, you're paying 8,250 for the car, and then your road tax is 195 a year. I had to pause the video there because my cat is trying to get in. What are you doing, you idiot? Come on in then if you want to come in. He's interrupting my video. Right, sit up there by the window and be quiet, you stupid animal. I love my cat. Anyway, so what I was saying is your old 5 Series is going to be £195 a year, which obviously if you calculate it over 6 years is going to be £1,200 instead of £4,295. So you've saved yourself a fortune just on road tax, notwithstanding the fact that you've saved yourself £50,000 on the purchase price. But when we go over to the fuel economy as well and we look at the fuel, right, the urban fuel on the diesel is 46.3, extra urban 65, average is 55.4. Don't forget, we were looking at 45.6. 55.4 versus 45.6. So the old diesel car is getting 10 miles to the gallon more, is costing £3,000 less to tax, and is £50,000 less to buy. Is it any wonder that the new car market is absolutely on its knees and people are giving up buying new cars and looking at older cars because they make so much more sense financially when the economy is collapsing? I just found all that quite interesting when I went and thought, oh yeah, you know what, I'll just go over to the BMW website and pick myself a 5 Series diesel. Not a thing anymore. It doesn't even exist anymore. And this is the combined consumption as well. And I'd be willing to bet that 208 horsepower BMW petrol, that's going to weigh a bit, innit? And they're not even pretty anymore. Most 5 Series these days, the brand new 5 Series, I think, looks just like an Octavia. So I don't know what's going on with all of this. I really don't. I wouldn't have it in that blue anyway. I'd probably gone for the red. But there we go. That is a couple of different ways to spend £60,000. Personally, if I had 60, well, this is the thing as well. Nobody's got £60,000 to spend, have they? So it's easy for me to say, oh, if I had £60,000, then I wouldn't buy the BMW. I'd go and buy a cheap Saab and a house abroad. But the thing is, nobody's got £60,000. It's all done on finance, isn't it? Everything's done on finance, and it's all done through company car schemes, which are all backed up by the government, which are all based on everything else. And the thing is, if the UK car market collapses, if people stop buying new cars, it has a massive impact on the economy. That's why everything is propped up. We need people to keep buying these cars, even though they don't want them and they don't need them and they're too expensive, just to keep the show on the road. And I think we're reaching the end of it. So get yourself some pitchforks and make yourself comfortable, dig in, get prepping, because no one's buying 5 Series estates anymore. That's a strange conclusion to the video. Weirdio. Cheers for watching.